Hi everybody, it's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. And whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean Floor Absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Mark Rivers' incredible battles will be tough to top, but while Michigan may have felt wide open, Wild Horse brings an almost motocross-esque nature to the racing. It's time to get the elbows out and fight for space as we get ready to watch Round 7 of the 2022 iRacing Short Course National Series, live on Podium Esports. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and joining me in the booth tonight is the voice of off-road, Dave Arnold. Our producer for this evening is Ryan Bauer, and is using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. So, as we get ready for the qualifying here in just a moment here, Dave, this is going to be fascinating because what a different track compared to last week.
Oh, yeah, I love Wild Horse Pass. I mean, it's tight, and like you said, you got to throw the elbows out. You better get them 10 feet wide because you're going to have somebody in your door. And that's what I think makes the excitement. One right turn, and that's going to be where the battles are coming off that hill, the big ski jump.
Indeed, and of course that leads right into that rhythm section. But for today's, or for this season, we see that this is the second time that we've been here, and then we've got a few more visits to a few places we've been before. But it's starting now to get into the thick of it, and hopefully we'll see some protagonists really start to take shape that can challenge the likes of our current championship leader. As for taking a look at the track itself, let's zoom in here on Google Earth to take a look at Wild Horse Pass, Arizona track, as we've hopped completely across the nation here, Dave.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, it is just a gorgeous location out there. You can see the lake in the background. A lot of, drag boat racing's gone over the years, but having that as the backdrop of this awesome 5 turns, it's just such a fun track. It's so tight. When you see these turns, they are a little over 90 degrees, so you're coming back around really fast. And you'll see 2-3 wide battling through these turns. And, Joe, it just makes for exciting racing. It's a little MMA out there, too.
I'm looking forward to that. And as we now take a glance at the race info for today, again, just like we had before, it is heat races leading to last chance qualifiers, but a little bit longer than what we saw before, leading off into the main events, which is 26 laps instead this time, since they're going to be cycling around so many. Could see a lot more drivers go a lap down around this place, especially before we get to that competition caution at the end of lap 12. For today. Right now in our qualifying, they get 4 laps out there. Keaton Swain has managed to put himself on provisional pole with his second lap over Grady by about 0.3 of a second. We're watching the 56 of Drapkin, who just put himself into second place. So a nice little notch on his belt, and that was on his first lap. So certainly some drivers setting a marker down in the sand early here, Dave.
Well, Drapkin spent a lot of time there in real life, as well as doing very well at this track in iRacing over the years. Well, I'll tell you, Keaton Swain, He knows how to put it on top of the box, and this is one of his favorite tracks. He always excels really well there. And, you know, Tom Grady, you know, he's throwing some pretty quick laps down there also. But, man, I'll tell you, Mason Prater, I'm still waiting for him to see a little bit what he can do. This is literally his backyard in real life. So that could be interesting. And, of course, Connor Berry, he's seen lots of success here in real life as well as in iRacing, too. Looking calm.
As he tends to be, and whoop, as he takes quite a bit of the edge of the track. Thankfully does not turn the truck over and then swings it in as he's getting ready for the jump. Let's see if Connor has got a good lap on his hands. It looks like the time is not showing too terribly well, but often my timing and scoring can sometimes lie to me on that. So here's hoping that that's the case. Taking it around the banking, just swinging it off over the tabletop as he gets ready to set a time of 36.123. That's only going to put him in seventh. He still has more chances, but man, he is using every inch of the track, and maybe then some.
Well, that's what the idea here, especially in such a short, you know, tight track. Turn one, usually a lot of high speed, but you're going to see, you know, when they have to come around, do that right-hander, that slows them down a little bit. But it's that second turn where they're going to bunch up. And it's, you know, who's going to get on the binders first is when it's going to come down to. When it comes to qualifying, you don't have to worry about anybody else out there. So you're able to use more of the track. You're not going to see that in the race.
Berry continuing on as his second lap was a little bit quicker, good enough for third, but now we're watching Sheldon Creed as his previous lap at 36.337. Good enough to get himself into the mid-pack, but abandons his second lap. And it looks like he is going to park it and take it back into pit lane. We're looking at Folsom now. The 66 has not set a single time yet. And he's got enough that he could hustle out there and get a couple in. I'm not sure if he'd get all four. But Swain, our pole sitter, is back out once again. He has one more lap. And a 36.673, yet faster over both Berry and Drapkin, who just took second place away from him in the number 56. So Connor Berry, who briefly was starting to edge forward on Keaton Swain here, Dave, suddenly finds himself with some work to do.
Well, I'll tell you, Keaton's really got this track dialed in there. I believe he took a win earlier this year here. But on board, you can see Roy Folsom right now. Looking pretty focused there. Kind of watching his lines in the setups here. That final turn, that's so important, how you got to keep it swinging out like you talked about earlier to get that fast exit.
And looks like he's just starting that first flyer as he's a little wide there coming off of the first turn. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And we come back to Felix Roy now instead. Fourth place for him after just one lap. Could he maybe go a little bit quicker the next time around? Now, through this rhythm section, is there a method to take through that? Because it always just feels awkward whenever I run that thing.
Well, you know, the whole thing is getting that setup so you hit each jump right where the truck lands, so you're set up for the next one. A lot of guys try to hit it where you just kind of bounce off the top of the first one and just kind of land, get your front tires over the second one. It's kind of the key, because you'll see guys that don't quite clear it and their truck just gets really out of shape.
Maybe that's what I keep doing then as Folsom comes around, and his first lap, 37.091. 66 finds himself in the 25th spot. It's a little ways down the order, but again, he's got time for a couple more. And yeah, well, there's a good example right there. The car just bouncing into that last one.
Yeah, you just got to get that right set up there too. And you can see where they hit it from jumping, usually from the left. I'm sorry, from the right to a little bit of the left. They try to get it at an angle, so your tires kind of flop right over it.
Folsom. And yeah, not sure if this is going to be a good one. Chucks it in there. 36.7. He did improve by about 0.3 that time by.
Yeah, they got to get down, you know, low 36s, you know, in the high 35s.
Coming back around the banking. Here comes the finish line once again. He'll have one last shot after this one if he desires it, and that was indeed a slow lap, 37.1. In fact, the slowest of the three that he has completed up to this point. And he's taking it all the way out to the edge, trying to open up that hairpin, leading onto the jump, chucking it over as it flies off down the hill into the tight right-hander, down in the infield, into the rhythm section. This lap goes by extremely fast, and he's going to try and complete the lap. It looks like he likes it enough that he's coming around that final turn, the 66, down into the line. Is this going to be any quicker? No, a 36.9 is not going to do it. And he is the last of our competitors that is able to do anything in this qualifying session.
You know, Joe, I wish they would have scanned this track quite a few years ago, because those two bumps used to be a step-up jump, and then the outside berm that on the left-hander, that used to be a split line. You had a high and a low line, and then they merged together right before the finish line. It made incredible racing.
It sounds like it would have been fun, but we're going to wait for the session to tick over, and then we'll go to our first grid today. 33 drivers have shown up to try and make it to the big show here today. We'll see who among them is able to try and compete for the big prize at the end of the session, because that was what it's all about. Yes, you'd like to win your LCQ, or yes, you'd like to win your heat, but winning the finale is what it's all about. But we've got 3 heats here today, and it looks like the first one is set. Keaton Swain starts it on the pole, as Felix Roy will be in P2. Tyson Miller will start from the 3rd position. After that, you've got Sheldon Creed in the 4th spot. Jaden Minder will be P5, as Aiden Irvin is in 6th. Next slide has Brock Smith starting P7. To his outside, it's going to be Levi Metzinger. Miles Morris starts 9th, with Bill Lester in 10th, and 11 trucks going to start here in this first heat of 3 as Darrell World wraps it up. With it being such a tighter course, and obviously you do have slightly more laps, is it more important to try and get that track position early here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it gets, really tight. And, some of those turns, the outside line is like turn 2, not very quick. You got to be down low or in the middle. So if you don't establish, there's not a lot of room for, 3, 4 wide to go through that turn. So if you're not in that front group, it's a battle. You're going to be beating up on people. A lot of beating and banging going to be going on.
Well, I hope everybody got a good night's rest, because it's early in the morning here in the virtual world. It's 6:30 a.m. virtual standard time right now. So the fans have certainly decided to wake up and get out to the track. So the iRacing fans as diligent as ever. And the pace truck going to lead them around for a lap, and then we go racing for our first heat of the day.
I'll tell you one thing, Arizona has some great fans, and they're looking here in the virtual world to put on a good race.
Absolutely. Sun rising and getting ready to shine down on these trucks, which won't stay shiny for very long here during this first race. Only 6 laps in these heat races that they have to try and get themselves into the top position. And don't forget, it is the top 3 that go to the feature here in these heats. There goes the pace truck, and it's going to give control over to Keaton Swain, waiting for the green flag in that number 21. Let's see what kind of start we get out of these guys. Green flag waves, and Keaton is on the loud pedal over the tabletop once again, and down into the first corner. He's got the lead, and they're going to stack up in a big way behind him. Nobody gets turned around, though.
Yeah, you can see a little contact right away there. That's about establishing position here. Only 3 are going to qualify, so you got to be in that top 3. Otherwise, you're looking at LCQ, and only 2 will come out of the LCQ. Oh, my goodness.
Big hit into the back. Keaton Swain from Felix Roy, but does not completely turn him around. He holds on to it well. And behind them, it is all kinds of bumper cars. Look at this. And someone almost looks like they were getting turned there in 4th or 5th position. We're on board with Irvin right now, sitting in the 8th spot, way down in the order. Everybody taking any line you could imagine through turn 1.
Well, I saw a little slide job out there in front of him, and he was able to sneak right through to get a position. Very nice.
It's Swain, Roy, Creed, your current drivers that are in the advancing positions. This is on board with Smith, who is trying to take one of those away, but he's a little bit too far behind right now. He's going to have to start to gain some ground to be in a position to attack, especially since I imagine those three are probably content to sit and ride.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They just want to sit there in their position, and they're going to go into protection mode now.
Behind them, it's just been utter chaos throughout the rest of the field. Everybody else has been trying to do everything they can to get up to those 3 spots, as we see a few of them getting into one another. That was Miller, Minder, and Smith there coming into turn 2. Down at a 3 now, switching back around as they now head themselves into the last banked corner and onto the front stretch once again. Smith doing a great job to pull away.
And you see Chayton Zane Minder right there behind him. And that was a great onboard shot. You watch Minder as he's trying to mirror around there, trying to look for a line.
Absolutely, and opening up now at turn 3, just another little touch between all of them. Minder getting a touch from behind, but also giving it his all into Smith as well. And just getting on that brake, trying to swing it around as we now head to Felix Roy. He's been pulling away from Swain, maybe feeling a little ambitious here as he's poking his nose here and there on the number 21.
Yeah, Roy's just trying to look for a little line, waiting for Swain to make a mistake, but man, Swain is always on point when he's here. He's driven this a lot in the buggy class, early on, which really taught him the lines. When he got in a pro light, he really accelerated, but now here in these pro 4s, I'll tell you, look at the perfect line coming out of turn 3.
Certainly.
You see that little setup I talked about? Hitting that jump, hitting that one wheel, getting it to the top.
Just perfect. He has got this line down pat as we cross over, and it is now down to the final lap. The white flag waves, and we're still looking at Swain, Roy, and Creed advancing automatically into the feature. The others will still have a chance to get into that main race, but they'll have to do it through the LCQ. And you can see the finishing position will decide some of that order. So these guys fighting hard to try and decide who will be where. But up at the front, the 21 may have seen a few challenges from the 91, but nothing to threaten this lead as Swain takes the win, Roy takes second, and Creed a little bit of a distant third here today. Everybody else now finds themselves having to work that much harder to see the last race of the night.
Well, it's all about getting to the dance, and that's what these guys did in the top 3 positions. Everybody else, though, it's going to get physical. You see how I talk about turn 2? It's only those 2 inside lines that really work.
Brock Smith just shy of that one, unfortunately, but he'll have a good position when they get to that last chance qualifier. In the meantime, Drapkin will be starting on the pole here in the second heat with Dashley in second. Tom Grady will be in third. Noah Sanders, fourth for him, followed by Zach Knowles in the 5th position. To the outside of his row, it's Lon Franks. The next slide has Kyle Cooper starting 7th and Cameron Magashik in 8th. Jean-Francois LeBlanc will be P9, followed by James Watson in the 10th position and Alec Hoffman at tail end Charlie for this field. Getting a little bit of cloud cover now on this one after our first heat of the day, but shouldn't make too much of a difference. It's still pretty cool this early in the morning out in the desert, of course, and I'm sure that'll increase steadily as the day goes on. But what we learned from that first one, Dave, was there anything in particular that stood out to you?
I mean, getting out in those top positions is so important. You can see how there's only a couple places to pass, and you're going to have to set that up. And turn 2, we see it sometimes getting set up for turn 3. That's where we're going to see a lot of the battles going on. I mean, the key is get up front. I mean, it's such a tight, short track, and you run out of laps really quick.
Well, they're running out of time to grid, but it looks like we do have everybody out there, so we're waiting for the pace truck driver to decide it's time to go before we get Heat 2 underway. And we saw just how quickly the laps go by in that last one, only 6 around here, and that was done in the blink of an eye. As
yeah. This track definitely will go by quick, and you run out of laps faster than you think.
Undoubtedly. Thankfully, I don't think compared to last round at Bark River, we saw a number of people take a tumble and actually go up and over. I don't think we saw any in that first heat here, which kind of surprised me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while we'll see one out of turn 1, but it's usually turn 2 and 3 where there's most of the collisions. It's usually somebody helping that other person over. Where at Bark River, you have a lot more high-speed turns, and I think at those speeds, just one little touch is going to send these things out of control.
That's a good point there. Yeah, the much slower speeds that we've got on this twisty little track almost reminds me a bit of a go-kart track in the way it just winds in on itself. And now we will trundle around here at about 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, and then be off to the green flag here. Last time it was aggressive stuff into the first few corners. Will it be the same? Did anybody learn any tricks watching that one? Try and find a line to cut around and find an opening amongst the chaos that is the starts here in short course racing. Pace truck is off. Zach's got control of the fields. Barney's gonna wait to wave the flag, coming off of the banking. Green flag is out. Great launch there by the 56. Doesn't cover the inside off though, and he's gonna leave it open. Doesn't need to cover it off. Well run off compared to Dashley. Little bit less aggressive from a number of trucks down into that first turn. Now into turn 2. Oh, and this is the complete opposite as we almost get people turned around.
Well, turn 2 always turns into the calamity spot, and that's for sure. It doesn't disappoint. And it's so important to get in that position. They know they got to get down low, get those 2 inside lines to set up for that right-hander coming up turn 3.
Almost 4 wide there through turn 3 for some of the drivers at the back of the pack, but they get it sorted out, and we go mostly single file throughout the field. But it is Drapkin, Dashley, and Grady who are your advancing drivers right now as we watch from the 56. Zach with a clear bit of track in front of him and a whole field of angry trucks behind him.
Oh yeah, a lot of angry drivers trying to go for. It's like running through the factory with the ice cream cone, running down the street and everybody chasing them. It's that nerve-wracking.
He's the one that wants it most, though, right now.
Yes.
As he is starting to pull away, actually, a full second ahead of Nick there in second place. A little bit of a look to the inside from Grady, but doesn't get the launch off the corner. We're going to watch from on board him. Is he going to chuck it down into turn 2? No. Looks like he's not willing to, although he does give a little hello to the back of the 23.
It comes out to outbraking people sometimes, trying to get that nose slided in there before they can shut the door on you. Sometimes that can go your way, or sometimes you can take each other out.
Certainly is that balancing act, I'm sure, figuring out when it's the right time and hoping you get a little bit of cooperation from your rivals, as they don't want to see both of you wind up in the fence. And still challenging on that number 23. We watch now from the roof, looking back as just look at how much air they're able to get over these jumps. Even though it's a short track, they just absolutely launch.
Oh, the acceleration on these Pro 4s is just insane. They literally leap out of the dirt within 3-4 feet.
A little bit of a pass behind them. Looks like Cooper managing to get by Franks there, and that is for 6th position. And in fact, they're going to carry on that battle, looking to the inside, but Lon just doesn't have the grip there coming through the corner, and already body parts being shed by a number of competitors today. But this is not an aerodynamics game. This is a game of power and cunning.
And brute force sometimes.
As we come through turn 3, we're watching from Sanders, who sits just outside of the advancing positions. Grady's keeping himself at arm's length, so not really much of a challenge from that 71 right now. In fact, he's probably having to watch the mirrors because Knowles in the 099 is staying right underneath him, making sure that he can't rest on his laurels. And at the front, this is your leader, the 56. We come back now to Knowles, sitting in that 5th spot. Up and over the jump, not quite close enough there. And through the rhythm section, once again, the 56 swinging it back around, and this is going to be the checkered flag and the win in the heat race. Beating his chest, happy with that one, as Zach is going to advance to the feature. Dashley will, and Grady will.
Not surprised. Drapkin does very well at this track in real life as well as iRacing over the years. He's had a lot of success, so very stoked for him. But Dashley put in a great performance with Grady right behind him.
So that's going to wrap up heat number 2. And there you see our top 3 advancing: Sanders, Knowles, Cooper, Franks, Magashik, LeBlanc, and Watson heading off to the last chance qualifier after this, which is our third heat of the evening. Connor Berry now starting up here, as Cody Retzlaff will be in a P2, as Brian Clement will be in third. Parker Retzlaff coming over from the Coke Series to try the dirt side on road. Interesting transition from fourth. Bryce Simoneau is going to be starting from P5. Anthony Gaudio will be in sixth spot. It's Rory Folsom, who had a good end to his qualifying, able to start from 7th here today, as Scott Posey will be 8th and Franklin Monak will be 9th. Then the last two, Trey Blank in 10th and Nathan Ramsey in 11th. And that is going to be everybody out there today that has been able to set a time in the qualifying. This is going to decide who gets to the big show and who winds up going into the LCQ. After this, it starts to get a little bit more tense, and the pressure is on to try and get some results on your plate. And we're going to wait just a little bit longer once again before we take off here on our final heat of the night. But this has been another fun one to watch here, with such a different layout. Honestly, especially when these first showed up here on the iRacing service here, Dave. As a child of the 90s myself, I played a lot of off-road in the arcades, and this brings back a lot of memories.
Remember the old Mickey Thompson
Yes.
off-road game, and Ivan the Iron Man Stewart game, the PA. Those were probably two of the ones that got me bad. Growing up, when I was racing, I was only allowed to race asphalt because that's what my dad did. Well, those games and those guys, that's what got me hooked on the dirt. So I can see that, child of the 90s.
Yes, indeed. And that was either in the arcade, if we found it somewhere, or if we had the chance to rent it from Blockbuster and played it on the SNES from time to time. But
oh, I remember those days.
Yeah, this is a slightly more advanced, thankfully, and brings another life to it. So coming up and around here on our pace lap, doesn't take much time as well here on the pace laps, like the real ones, to get those underway. And so far, you talked about the advantage of having the track position. I don't think we've seen the top 3 change position the first 2 races. Is there anything that can be done here to make that different for those that aren't starting in those top 3?
I mean, the big key is, we talked about setting up for turn 2, turn 3, but coming out of turn 3, you mentioned it early on, and I think that I've really been watching. That's where a lot of the time that people can make the pass is hitting that little double just right. Save you that 10th of a second, a 10th of a second, a 10th of a second. Because that's everything.
Green flag is out, and we might have a change for at least third, as that is Clement almost shoving the 4 of Retzlaff off Parker. Oh, and they're all going to come together, a few of them getting turned around, and there's our first rollover. Parker Retzlaff on his lid. He's going to wind up on the black things and manage to get going once again, but he's all the way down in 10th. So Cody Retzlaff, who was in third, now finds himself challenged by Clement for that position. Simoneau and Barry are off like a shot. They're nowhere to be seen, and going to take second and first with ease. And my goodness, this has been perhaps the most chaotic of any of the 3.
Well, I said earlier, a little MMA and a little brute force. Well, it's coming true in this final heat race right now. I can only imagine what the LCQs are going to bring.
Supposed to be on the southern border instead of the northern like last time. That looked like log rolling to me. And as we come down through turn 3 once again, this is not over. Cody Retzlaff here is trying his darndest to overtake on Simoneau. He's caught back up to him here for this battle. And don't forget about Clement in the 483. He is right on his tail, and he's going to try and cut underneath him into turn one.
That was a nice setup there. I mean, if he can just keep on showing it, he might be able to pull that off if he can get up there. But you can see, not if you ride the K-rail.
No, just a little too far inside as he took a bump on Cody Retzlaff. And that sent him up and on top on that inside berm. Meanwhile, through turn 4 and on to the main straight once again. Simoneau looks like he's got this a little bit more under control as we watch his cam from his rig. He certainly looks to be pretty calm to me. And there, Cody Retzlaff in the 525. Just making sure to stick right with him. Maybe keeping half an eye on the mirrors behind him. A little bit of a pass maybe between Gaudio and Folsom. Folsom unable to make that pass stick.
And you really see they're trying to jockey for position. They're going through turn number 3. And there's a setup. You see that just didn't hit it right. And that's the whole key. It's like, man, you hit that jump right, you could actually get a position on somebody.
Well, he has at least gotten one, but I think that was from Parker Retzlaff with his rollover earlier. Folsom up from 7th to 6th so far in this race. And we're going to get the white flag next time by, so chances are running out. Oh, he's way far to the inside, extremely shallow there as we now come back to Connor Berry in the number 28. A massive 5 seconds over anybody else.
I think it might be the new gloves he's wearing. I think it's bringing him a little bit luck on this one.
Very, very nice yellow gloves that he's got. Wonder if he's drinking the yellow drink then as well, just to match. And as he comes out of turn 1 and into 2, yeah, this is just basically run your line and bring it down to the finish, because it is his to lose at this stage on this last lap of the race. Clement maybe might try something desperate. We'll see. Coming into turn 3, tries to get the inside, but there's no grip there as Connor Berry is going to take the win. Coming over the lead for heat number 3, Simoneau fends off all comers to take 2nd, and Retzlaff sneaks into 3rd for the first person it was Simoneau first person outside of the top 3 to finish in there. Retzlaff moves down from 2nd to 3rd. So there is your finishing order for this one. And you're going to see these names again there below that 3rd position, because we're already heading off into the next race. It is the first last chance qualifier of the night. And up at the top of that one, it is going to be Brock Smith on the pole. We've got Brian Clement, who will be in P2. Zach Knowles starts from the 3rd position. Tyson Miller starts from 4th. Rory Folsom in 5th. Aslan Frank starts from the 6th spot. We move on to the next slide, and Miles Morris will be in P7. Parker Retzlaff, he was sitting in a great position at the start of that last heat, and unfortunately it all fell apart for him very early on. That sends him down to 8th at the start of this one. Jean-Francois Leblanc will be in 9th, as Daryl Wold will be 10th, as Scott Posey starts 11th, and Alec Hoffman in 12th, so one more than what we saw from before, and only 2 LCQs for this one as well. And interesting to note, whereas we only had 3 last time, Dave, it's only 2 advancing.
Yeah, this is going to get pretty physical, I think. Especially there's a good number of cars, and only 2 of them get to go to the main event.
All right, and only 4 laps as well. So if you are at the back of the field on this one, expect some desperation around here today. And just a moment as they rev the engines, waiting for the pace truck to come on around on the pace lap and release them here today. So this, we're getting some new information. It is 4 advancing. Yes, 4 advancing here. So apologies. Yeah, so it was supposed to be the top 2 from the information I was given, but it looks like an update is there will be 4. A little sigh of relief, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I saw too, Joe. So I think a few drivers probably went, wait.
And we are waiting right now, still looking to try and get going. Oh, Scott Posey. Okay, a little bit of blinking connection issue for the number 8, but thankfully looks like that is reconnected and we are ready to go into this first last chance qualifier of the evening. And I'm noticing, yeah, I don't think we have reset the track, have we? Because I do see a little bit of lines forming in some places. If we have reset it, it's not completely. It's still a little slightly worn in.
Yeah, it looks like a little blue groove down still. Doesn't look wet. We've seen it. You can see the dust kicking up already. Oh.
So we watch
You
them.
can see a little bit of that dust still, so it looks like a little dry.
Yeah, just drying up a bit. I mean, we kind of expect that. We're in the desert right here, so as the drivers now come through and on to the final corner. Let's see what it's going to be here for the last chance qualifier as the green flag is out and they're already making contact with one another off of the green flag. And it's going to be side by side in the first turn. Clement going to try and go around the outside, cut underneath, and he might actually get the lead away. No, they're going to run into each other. They're going to collect, and that actually gets all the top 3 off and into the wall. It looks like, I think Knowles managed to survive it, maybe. Or that might have been Miller, actually. There was a red truck that almost got caught up and is able to keep going and is in the transfer spots.
I'm speechless at what just happened there. I mean, that was just insane watching the top 3. But I think third was able to move up there and get into third. I do believe that was him.
Yeah.
That truck.
Looks like Miller is one of those that managed to sneak through, but they're going to throw the caution flag for the accident. They're going to stack everybody back up and try that restart again. Do we have a replay on that incident? Because my goodness. Here we go. So this is going to start just that little bit of contact between them. And it actually, I believe, sends Clement into the fence, and he gets stuck there. Sends our other leader up and over as well. And that was Brock Smith.
Yeah, you can see how he just kind of slid up as he applied pressure. It's almost like a pit maneuver.
I'm not sure if he got stuck on him or what on that, because it almost looked like he either didn't want to get out of it or couldn't get out of it, because it just kept happening in this sort of slow motion train wreck where multiple drivers found themselves getting involved. And that's what led to where we sit now.
Let me tell you one thing about these trucks. You don't get out of it. You've got to stay on it. When you're side by side and someone's leaning on you, usually if you let off, that's what will happen. Somebody yields. If you stay good, they'll keep the pressure. You got front wheels pulling you, rear wheels pushing you, it's going to keep you tracking straight. You let off, these things are just going to go squirrely on you, and I think that's what happened.
Certainly looks like it, and we're getting drivers back into position. It looks like they've red flagged the race, and they're cycling. This is Brian Clement back up to the front. So is this a complete reset here with even fewer laps now, potentially?
Yeah, I'm seeing a complete restart on this one, the way he got set.
They are giving some instructions over the radio. I'm trying to listen in here a little bit to the race control. And yeah, they're trying to order them into position. So here we go. Okay, now we are on our way, and they are going to allow Clement to start from the front as he started in P2. The good news is they did have a free repair in this race. So those that were involved have been able to come back out with a truck that is in working order. And they should hopefully still be competitive and not be limping around for what few laps are going to be left.
Well, it's just a fresh restart here. So now the question is, still going to be 4 laps, I assume.
I'm not sure if they can add the laps onto the end, because we're still seeing 2 of 4. Yeah, so this is going to be essentially halved. This, yeah, 2-lap shootout here. I guess we got a green-white checkers on our hand.
that's going to be an interesting one for an LCQ.
Boy, if that last one was tense, this one even more so, as the green flag is out once again. Clement, though, single file this time. Will this give us a little bit of a cleaner start into turn one? Knowles is not able to get by. It looks like third with Miller behind him. Roy Folsom up into fourth. Great charge for him to manage to get into an advancing spot behind them. Yes, much, much cleaner this time by. But we are already going to take the white flag as they cycle around 3 and towards 4.
I'm trying to keep an eye on Franks as he came around. Looks like he almost had position there. Trying to get in the qualifying position here as he comes down, looks on the inside again.
White flag is out. Clement still leads the way. Knowles tries to follow through. Franks is the odd man out. The last one, or the first one really, that will not advance into the feature if he stays put. And in fact, behind him a big charge. That was Retzlaff, who just busted him there and took that one by force. And unfortunately, he's going to get the favor repaid. And that sends poor Folsom up and on his lid. But up at the very front, Brian Clement will take the win. He'll advance. Knowles will go through. Tyson Miller gets through. And Parker Retzlaff finds himself now in the top 4 and going through.
Well, we're going to have to see what the admin on that. That looked a little aggressive on that pass. Unfortunately, taking out the other driver.
Yeah, it looked like it to me. We'll see if they change that. There is your finishing order. And everybody from 5th on down you will not see for the rest of tonight, unfortunately, as their night has been ended, and we now head into the second of the last chance qualifiers and the last of the last chance qualifiers. And up at the top of this one, it is going to be Noah Sanders. Well, we'll get to that in a second. It looks like we still need this session to swap over. There we go. Now we're ready to go through our starting order. Noah Sanders, as I said, on the pole position. Jaden Minder will be in the second spot. You've got Anthony Guaudo in third, followed by Kyle Cooper in fourth. After that, Aiden Irvin starts fifth. Trey Blank will be in the sixth spot. On the next slide, Cameron Makashik will be in seventh. Bill Lester starts from eighth. Franklin Monak ninth. James Watson 10th, and Levi Metzinger 11th, with Natan Ramsey the last of the 12-truck field. If I took one thing from last round, Dave, it's that if you stay out of trouble here at the start, you have a good chance of advancing.
I think that's a good little motto to live by here. You know, Wild Horse Pass, it makes for some exciting racing. It's a lot of contact. But, you know, if you're not in the top 5, you're going to have a fight on your hand.
Indeed, and I'm sure the stewards are going to be giving them an extra little talking to after that one. Letting them know to try and keep it clean out there and make sure that they get a good race, and we don't have to take this to another 2 laps to try and finish this one out. But you see them already lined up, and we have now got ourselves a one last shot with just past 7 in the morning virtual standard time. Sun a little bit sped up here in the sim world itself, so if this seems a little odd that it has been going this quickly, that is why. And they are giving them plenty of time to think about this, that is for sure. They've made sure that these grids are nice and slow.
Well, one thing about Arizona, boy, it could swing like 40 degrees in temperature too. You know, it's been out there in the summertime, and we've done races in the evening. In the daytime when they're qualifying, it's $115, $116. Evening, 103.
Yeah.
Can you imagine sitting in the truck for that amount of time in the heat?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure this is one thing that many of the real world drivers are grateful about here in the sim. Yes. Don't have that experience at all. Yeah, it's one thing. I lived in Colorado for a while, and though a little bit different, definitely a similarly dry climate, and same thing in the summers. Didn't matter how hot it got during the day, at nighttime it just felt beautiful no matter where you were.
Oh yeah, well, there's some nights out there in Arizona it gets a little stifling in the summer. You know, we've had a race in the early days in August, and we had literally drivers that were getting IVs after they got out of the truck. They were sweating so much.
That is dedication right there. And here we go. Who's dedicated to getting to the big show today as they come over the rhythm section and looking for the green flag. Sanders waiting to be given the go by Barney. There it is. Green flag is out. 71 gets a pretty good jump. Last time it was an undercut there through the first corner that caused a lot of the problems to happen. No such luck for our second place driver this time. Sanders is going to retain the lead. They come down into turn 2. Big checkup here usually, and thankfully everybody keeps a cool head.
Gaudio got a little hot into Minder. Minder able to keep that truck straight, luckily. You can see Gaudio trying to work on it, but you can see a couple of guys trying to shove around. Look at that. Gershik able to make a pass.
Down to the inside. Gaudio's going to look for third place. This is one of the advancing positions. Remember, top 4 get through, but he wants to make himself safer than the bubble. As wow, great slide job in front of Cooper. In fact, Cooper now has Magashik trying to get into that advancing position. 3 wide up into turn 2.
Yeah, he said Cooper was just, you know what? I got to fight my way up in this one. It's going to get physical. And the nice thing is, it's all been side contact.
Indeed. So all's fair in love and war. As if you can get that truck alongside, let's make it happen. And it looks like Magashik not able to catch up to Cooper quite yet. He wants the spot, but he has definitely put Irvin down into 6 as we slide into the first turn and makes a little bit of a tip into his rival, but thankfully nobody turned around.
Well, Gershik, you know, basically he's at one more position to get to qualify, so he's going to be trying to stick that nose in anywhere he can right now.
Meanwhile, it's still Sanders leading with a second gap back to Minder. Gaudio also starting to pull himself a handy little space as this is still drivers desperate to try and find the feature race. Cooper under threat, but he gets the grip off the corner, launching across the start-finish line into the white flag. Who is going to wind up getting through? Oh, over on his lid, Irvin winds up on his tires. Briefly, he is going to be able to continue, but it all falls apart. Oh, what a problem for Sanders. Sanders, what happened to... No, Sanders is in. Excuse me, we are timing and scoring is going crazy as we had a car coming across. It was Watson in P3 with the issues, but Sanders is going to take the win. Minder is going to wind up in second, Gaudio third, and Cooper gets fourth. As unfortunately a car coming across the barrier is what sent us all kinds of haywire there for a second.
Yeah, that happens every once in a while. I've seen it in real life.
Thankfully, I don't think he ran into anybody, but I'd have to go back and check. And there you can see our advancing drivers, those top 4, everybody down is done and heads to an early shower this evening. But now we get a little bit of a warm-up. We get a breather. Everybody relax for a moment. And they get to reset before we head off into the feature race. And I gotta wonder what the main guys who made it through in those first heats there, Dave, were thinking about those LCQs, because that was something else. And here's the replay. So this was not from third for Watson. Oh, he hit the recovering Irvin.
Okay, now we can see what happened here.
So Irvin's going to get a tip, and that is going to send him rolling. He gets back on his right side.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah, just everything came together in the wrong place, and he wound up upside down halfway on the barrier in the meantime. Okay, then, as everybody else who is still in it are out there right now practicing as the track has been reset. We're also going to reset. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the feature here in the iRacing Short Course National Series.
Hi, everybody. It's Derek Perniciglio for Super Clean. But whether you work around the shop, the garage, or the home, spills are going to happen. And now, Super Clean introduces their new Super Clean floor absorbent into their new product line to make cleaning up spills faster and easier. This all-natural product comes in an easy-to-pour 3-pound shaker jug. Just shake out the amount you need over your spill, give it a few minutes to absorb, and then clean up in an instant. Unlike traditional clay products, this product is virtually dust-free and absorbs 4 times faster. Now, we break out our Super Clean cleaner and degreaser for a 1-2 punch to clean up the stain completely. You can pick up your own 3-pound shaker jug of all-natural Super Clean at AutoZone, and you can also check us out at superclean.com. Super Clean, super easy, super fast, super clean.
Welcome back to Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park here in Arizona. We are watching the iRacing Short Course National Series for round 7. And a big thank you to our sponsors of this series, of course, CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics. They help make what you see tonight possible. And what you see tonight has been a lot of action here, but that was, of course, with the heats and the last chance qualifiers. This is going to be a much longer race, but also a lot more trucks out there. And even though we did have one caution already here, Dave, we have the halfway mandatory competition caution, which is certainly going to change the complexion of things.
Yeah, well, it always does. I love the race within the race. I mean, it really gives a second chance to reset. You know, you can pretty much set your tone the first part of the race. And when guys usually set their truck up for the last, half of the race, well, might be a good time where you saw them make mistakes early on. You can reset, maybe get a little jump on the start.
Indeed, and I'm sure there were some tricks that were learned by various drivers being in such close quarters for those first few races. Love how much they're able to use little bits of banking here and there that take you right up to the outside barriers. You can see them trying to use them to their advantage, much like we saw back at Bark River, just in a slightly different setting out here today. And I believe we've got about 30 seconds left. Yeah, 30 seconds left here in the warm-up. So hopefully they figured out what they need to figure out, because we are getting ready to go racing for the feature here today, where most of the points are now going to be handed out. But it has been Connor Berry who has won all but one of the feature races so far in this season. So he is going to be the man to beat if they want to try and challenge for this championship. As we now tick over into that feature session, I'm excited for this one, as last week certainly showed us what kind of excitement we can have in the big wide corners of Bark River. But now we cram everybody into a tiny little space and unleash them, as Keaton Swain will start on the pole position. Zachary Drapkin will be in second spot as Connor Berry starts from third. Then you've got Felix Roy starting in fourth, Nicholas Dachelet in P5, Bryce Simoneau starting in the sixth position, as Sheldon Creed will be P7. It's Tom Grady to his outside, as Cody Retzlaff is ninth. Brian Clement starts from the top 10 today. Noah Sanders managing to come through in his last chance qualifier with a win, starting from 11th. Zach Knowles in P12. Chaden Minder will be 13th. Then you've got Tyson Miller in the 14th position. Anthony Guaudio in 15th, followed by Parker Retzlaff, who is going to be allowed through, it looks like, despite a bit of a rough way to get into it. And Kyle Cooper, the last one to manage to make it, starting from 17th here today. And we'll wait for a moment as once again the The race control is just going to give them a little bit of a chat, let them know what's expected before we get to go racing here today. And you see the ticker in the top left set to now 26 laps out there. Wait for the end of lap 12 to get that caution flag thrown, and we'll stack up once again. How many trucks are we expecting likely to get lapped around here in this first half of the race here? Because they do let them back by, Dave.
Oh yeah, they'll usually give them a pass by, but I don't think anybody's really going to get lapped or anything on this one until the last half of the race. That's when it really, then guys are having problems, the vehicles are having problems, so we could see that then.
And there you see our various onboard cams of everybody getting ready. I love how contemplative. Who was that in the lower right there, just stroking his chin? As we are just about ready to go. That was Knowles there that was trying to look very stylish and contemplative for a brief moment. And I think, yeah, we should be on our way here in a second. It is still very early in the morning, so this has been basically just a morning time race all the way through for our various events today for round 7. As we're only just going to crack past 8 a.m. by the time this one is done today. And they are raring to go. You can already see some of the drivers starting to rev the engines as we finally take off behind the pace truck for our pace lap.
Well, it's being at a racetrack in real life and looking at this track, I'm just so amazed how detailed it is. It makes me actually feel like I'm right there. I mean, even the mud and the rust on the K-rail and or in your words, Jersey barrier, and the catch fencing, it just blows me away. And then I just noticed the podium was actually the podium they used at our regional series, which was from the drag boat racing. So it even has the shelf there. That just freaked me out. These guys at iRacing have nailed this track to the T. Every aspect.
I do love it. Yeah, it is just incredible. I love just zooming around every time we get a new track just to see what they included. But right now, nobody's sightseeing. They are ready to race as we get the green flag, and Swain doesn't have the greatest of starts around his outside. Drapkin's going to try and challenge him, and he holds on. He'll have a little bit of an overlap, and they bang doors a little bit, coming up and over as now they send it into turn 2. It is going to continue the side-by-side racing, the single right-hander, and Drapkin's got a great shot at the lead here.
Yeah, it looks like Drapkin had that, but you can see Felix Roy was trying to get to that inside, trying to get that line on Swain. Didn't happen. Connor Berry sneaking to the inside, though, the CBR machine.
He wants that one back. He's not going to let this one go easily. He's going to have the inside for the next couple corners, but it looks like the run off the corner is the place to be. The 56-year-old new leader, Keaton Swain, in second. Connor Berry, he wants another victory. He's getting a shove from behind as Felix Roy chucks it into turn 2.
It looks like a little bit of getting the shoe on out there. Roy just got moved right out of the way.
Indeed, that was Dashley, but Roy is going to take it right back with his own little move. And now the battle is between Creed and Dashley as we look a little bit farther back in the field. And we had a bit of an incident, it looks like. Let's take a look here on the replay. This is Knowles on screen. Oh, that bounce.
Well, it drove right up on the back end of the car. At least it came down the rubber side.
Absolutely. That's unfortunately a little bit more damaging, I imagine, than bad bounce in a football game. But unfortunately, yes. We come back up to our leaders. Drapkin ahead of Swain, ahead of Berry. Your top 3 on the podium right now. Roy has gotten back that 4th and has solidified it. And we're starting to look pretty single file. Are we starting to just try and notch some laps in at this point?
I think it's knocking laps down. We're only in lap 4 out of 26, so they've got a lot to go here. You really want to establish that position for when you get that restart. Top 5, you got a chance to make a podium. And I think that's why Creed's sitting in 6, wants to go after Dashley right now in the 23.
Yeah, it was taking a little bit of a poke there, but nothing doing, unfortunately, as we now hop in with Grady, who's back in 7th. Do see a little bit of a train kind of forming here amongst all of our drivers going all the way from the lead on down. Not many in the way of gaps amongst them to separate. So one mistake is probably going to be costly. You're not going down one position, you're going down multiple.
Well, these drivers, their skills have advanced so much. You actually either have to force or just pray that somebody makes a mistake, because that's the only way you're going to have a chance, because they're so equal nowadays.
Do have one car already being lapped. Bryce Simoneau, I think, looking to try and get around to that competition caution so he can stop in for his spare truck. But up at the front, there is Swain taking that inside line as he attempts to try and see if he can peel that one away, just using a little bit of an alternate run. Almost kind of reminds me, you mentioned the boats that race here earlier, of hydroplanes, just trying to run where they aren't and try to keep that lane open.
Yeah, you don't want to run that disturbed water. Well, you don't want to, follow somebody. If you follow somebody, you can't pass them. Simple logic.
Ooh, big up hit to the wall there for Barry. Thankfully, looks like that didn't hurt him too badly. Down to the inside once again, but that pinched line that he keeps taking at a lot of different corners. Keaton Swain can't find the drive. The track's still very dry out there, and you're not seeing much in the way of a blue groove starting to form. But the top three have nothing between them. We talked about it just a moment ago. Any little mistake is going to be costly. These guys have got to be watching with hawk eyes on one another.
Where they're going to be, the most timid, and that's where you want to strike. They are pretty much, looks like watching a drip competition. They are just mirroring each other.
Absolutely, and looking to the inside here. Barry gets in there. Almost has an opportunity, but once again, seems like being at the bottom is not quite working for most of the drivers. Flying off as he squares off turn 4, and he falls back once again. They're starting to see Felix Roy regain on them just a little bit. We'll see if this becomes a four-way fight. And once again, trying to get down to the inside. This time, not as much overlap from the 21.
Well, you mentioned about lap traffic. I didn't think it was going to happen that early, but, something must be going on with someone in his vehicle.
Yeah, I think he's limping. He had to have had a tumble or something. That the car is either underpowered or the suspension is damaged. And he's going to try and do his best to stay out of the way of these guys as they come through turn 1 once again. They've only got a couple more laps, and Simoneau is 1 lap down. And I think they might give him 2 laps back, but there's a little hello. Drapkin Swain touching Drapkin into turn 2. And that's going to slow him up slightly as Barry wants to try and give that same greeting to the number 21. Now they come through the final corner, a cutback as he goes underneath. Barry looking for the launch. I'm not sure if he's quite got it, but he's in there.
Barry's trying to get those gentle grabbers, grabbing at the dirt there. Just can't find the traction. The track's a little slick right there. They're all so fast.
Once again, another bump to him as they come through the corner. They're going to get side by side this time, and it looks like Swain was much more tidy with that contact, but blocking him off. There is Drapkin with a savvy move, just making sure he can't get the launch.
He's trying to look a little low coming off of here, but, Swain's setting him up. If he can slide and push him up against the wall, that could be Swain's move. There we go.
Not totally clear that time, and he did catch a little bit of the wall. He's going to have the inside. 3 wide for the lead. Coming around the outside as Barry thinks he can get involved as well. Underneath, this time he's through, but it's not done yet. Side by side, down into turn 3 as Drapkin fights back, gives him a little elbow grease as well. And Connor Barry, as they start to get sideways, coming over the rhythm section. Barry cuts through both of them. Barry might now take the lead. They're going to come across the start-finish line, and this is going to be decisive as the yellow flag comes out. Was Drapkin ahead?
Wow.
I think Drapkin was just barely ahead.
I mean, we're talking just millimeters.
It wasn't by the line, but at the line, it was 0.150 of a second between them. Oh my goodness. I'm out of breath.
Well, I can tell you that pace truck really came on fast. I know that's got to be Gary Lane driving. Gary Lane drove it for, 14 years at Lucas Oil? The guy would catch air coming off the jumps. Driver's like, hell yeah. He's in his 70s.
I love it. And yes, it looks like Simon O was waved around the pace car. We'll see if he'll give him a second one and get him back on the lead lap. At the very least, he's got an opportunity to take his spare truck rather, and get back in the game, as he's currently last on the field. Okay, so let's go through your order here for this restart. Drapkin, Berry, Roy, Swain, Dashley. That's your top 5 that Dave earmarked as being the place to be here on the restart. And there goes Simon O down to the inside. That's one more lap back for him. So there's your top 5, Dave. And of those 5, who's looked the best? Because, man, the top 3 especially, I feel like it could be any of them that could take the victory here today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, any of these guys, with Connor making that run, it's going to be interesting. But Felix Roy is starting to come on. Like I said earlier, some of these drivers set their trucks up, calculating with fuel, weight, and everything and how they run for the last half of the race. I'm wondering if these guys in the top 3 have been pushing it a little too much, and we're going to see like Roy keep making a big run at it too.
Ooh, that's a good question. So Roy, who did sneak into that 3rd position here for the restart, and yeah, lights are off on the pace truck, so we are going to be rolling here. The green flag will be waving once they come out of turn 4, as they come over the crest of the jump and down the hill. Everybody probably very antsy to get going on this race, knowing just how wide open this one is. Here we go through the final turn. Drapkin needs the start of his life, or else somebody's going to send one into turn 1. Green flag is out. Barry's on it. Barry has a monstrous launch of his own, even pushing him through the corner. But will he be able to get through? Roy could maybe have a shot. No, Roy doesn't have the grip down there. Barry's still not completely by as they come into turn 2. Sweaving around this hairpin. It's a battle for second as well as a battle for the lead, a battle for third rather. And Drapkin still holds the advantage. Down into turn 3. Roy trying to fend off Swain.
Yeah, Swain's trying to work that line. He's moving inside, outside, looking to go to the inside now, Roy. But Roy's right in that middle line, the preferred line, as I like to say. Drapkin, he is going to be doing everything. Barry is going to try and force him a mistake because Drapkin, he's got a lot of pressure on him right now. But Barry's also got to worry about Felix Roy right behind him. So you got to, 2 things go in your head, the guy in front and the guy behind you.
So we're watching there with the 56, our leader. I saw a little bit of a tweak. Wonder if that was some of the brake balance on this car as they get stacked up behind him, coming through turn 3. And Barry still hot on his heels, but look at Roy having to fight off Swain, which is going to be unsuccessful. The 21 is now up into P3. Can he get back to the lead where he started this thing?
Well, Swain had that track position as he came out of that turn 4 there as he went into the first turn. He got up. Unfortunately, Roy got into the marbles a little bit, and you can see he really lost that drive.
Another battle for the lead. Drapkin and Barry. Barry does not want to give up another chance for a win here in the feature, as they're going to go side by side. Drapkin around the outside. He's going to stay out there and get his momentum blocked. And here comes our 21 car of Keaton Swain. He gets a spot too, just like that, from the lead to third for Zach.
You can see when you get out of that line how much, drive you lose. Oh, contact between Swain and Drapkin. Drapkin able to move back up to second. Roy looking low, trying to make the move on Swain now. So head up over the Gentle Tire ski jump.
They got to be careful. If they keep fighting like this, Barry's going to start to romp away. He's already got that track position. We're going to be 7 to go when we come by the line. So now they finally get single file. It is Barry, Drapkin, Swain, and Roy. These have been your 4 after that restart that looked the most likely to try and vie for the win.
Yeah, it's all about keeping your wheels down on the traction in that line. You know, you can see what happens. Every time they get up and the marbles go a little wide, they start to lose position and lose momentum.
So as they come down into turn 3, once again, a little look to the inside from Drapkin, and he does get a little overlap. That was from a long way back, though. He's got to watch out because that's Keaton Swain there at the bottom through the banking, weaving their way through. Up and over across the start-finish line once again. Swain down to the inside, but that blackened line looks a little slick, and he doesn't find the grip.
Yeah, he actually had the tires up on the outside, and he was in the marbles. You know, I think that's one of the problems. When you don't have both those tires on that line, you get one of those tires spinning, you can see the thing just wants to step out on him.
Coming around through 3, this is such a change to the start of the second half here, where we saw side by side for multiple laps from first all the way down to 4th. It has been stuck single file without an opportunity to try to get through. Big shove to the back of Drapkin. Swain lets him know he's still there, but can't manage to get the pass done. They continue to lose touch with the 28 up at the top.
You know, they still got him in the sight though, but you know, Swain look on the outside. Here comes Drapkin up the inside here. Going to try and push and get his nose right behind them. You got to block him a little bit. Swain gets that inside. He could take it. Uh-oh.
That was a much better run. He's side by side. They're coming back to turn 1 now. Does he have anything for him? Tries to slide it into the side of that 56, but nothing doing. This is a great defense from Zach, not being phased despite the 21 throwing everything at him.
Well, these two kids have raced together a lot, and they pretty much know each other's driving style. And I think that the fact that they can trust each other is why they know they can throw those vehicles around.
Certainly looks like it is a dance between them, but unfortunately somebody's got to win this tango. And who will lead? As the 56, we could see, still fighting hard, almost biting his lip as he is down to 3 laps to go, and Swain is making him sweat.
Wayne has really turned that pressure up on him. He is right there. He's looking over at him every time he comes up there. Show him that nose. Show him that nose.
Down through 3 once again. This time he keeps him from managing to get the side-by-side. It also prevents a little bit of a run, but somehow the 21 does get the launch through the rhythm section and back onto the main straight. He's much farther alongside. He starts to lose a little momentum. They come into turn 1 once again and just can't seem to keep that overlap that he needs. This is not working out well for Keaton.
No, Drapkin was really smart. He turned down just a little bit on Swain. It causes Swain to turn down a little bit more. It caused him to scrub a little bit harder than he was because he had that inside line. A lot more friction down there.
He really wants this, and we're going to get the white flag. So how bad does he want that second place? As Keaton Swain now has 1 more lap to try and take that away. I don't think the win is up for grabs unless they get a major mistake out of the number 28. Coming up into turn 2, this is going to be some of the last chances. He gets it underneath, can't get the launch, not going to be side by side down into turn 3. Could he pull maybe a little bit of an over-under? No, not there. Connor Berry in front of the pair of them around the final turn. Didn't look like he was quick early in the race, but it's not the beginning, it's the end as he takes victory here at Wild Horse Pass.
Very impressed by Connor Berry, but just a battle and how smooth and clean it was between Keaton Swain and Drapkin. I mean, that was just textbook driving by those two drivers. So impressed.
Same here. That is one to remember for the pair of them, no doubt. Put that one in a book and show it to the youth on how to race one another as we look at the results. And Connor Berry takes the victory today over Zach Drapkin by about half a second at the line. Keaton Swain kept trying his everything to peel P2 away from the 56, but there was nothing in it as the pole sitter had to settle for third. Felix Roy, for a brief while, looked like maybe he could try and challenge for one of those podium spots, but he kept dropping away, and he wound up with fourth. Nicholas Dachelet was P5. Cody Retzlaff was 6th as Sheldon Creed wound up exactly where he started in 7th, same as Tom Grady there in 8th. Then it was Parker Retzlaff who finished 9th today, followed by Chaden Minder in the 10th position. From there on down, Sanders was 11th as Anthony Gaudio up 3 spots for 12th, Miller 13th, and Clement falling backwards into P14. It was Cooper, the last one on the lead lap in 15th, with Simoneau a lap down and Knowles 2 laps down in 17th and last on the fields. It looks like we should have Barry ready to talk to us, and I'm sure he's got some tales to tell out of this one, because that was chock full of excitement out there at Wild Horse Pass. And let's see if we can have a little bit of chat with that number 28 driver. As Connor, congratulations on another win. That restart was something to behold. You guys were just chucking those things into each other.
Yeah, tonight was a pretty rowdy one. But it was so much fun. The first half, me, Swain, and Dropkin were just all going for it. I thought that it was clean, and we were all just going for it. So it was for sure fun, and definitely something new we have seen throughout this whole season. There are now some guys who have for sure found some speed. Like Zach was fast, Swain is just always fast. So it was for sure a battle, and I'm glad that I could get on the top step.
Now, Zach and Keaton definitely were having their own little fight there towards the end in the second half of the race. If they weren't battling with one another, do you think you would have had more of a challenge from them? For
sure. They were fast, and they were keeping me still Adam Bay, which just proves how tight we all are. This track for sure makes the times all close, so it's hard to get the gap. As you guys saw the first half, the top 4 were all close, and then lap 12. It got rowdy, and I found myself in P2. Then I got to first, and then I saw that Zach and Swain were having a good battle. So I knew if I could just be smart and smooth, that I could for sure win this. But they were for sure keeping the gap small. But yeah, it was all fun.
It's going to be a wild couple of weekends as we go from Wild Horse Pass back to Wild West Motorsports Park once again. Are you looking forward to returning there?
Kinda. The first round there, it for sure wasn't my favorite. I came home with a 4th, which is still good. Just I feel like I left a lot out there, but I will for sure find some more speed and hopefully come up with the win and get my sixth win of the year.
Yeah, sounds like a little bit of unfinished business for sure. Anybody you want to thank before you take off?
I want to give a big thanks to Jim Beaver Esports. It's cool to see me and Felix go 1-4 tonight, and I think we are 1-2 in the points. So I want to give a big thanks to all of them for the help. I want to give a big thanks to CBR, General Tire, Positive Beverage, Vision Wheel, and all of you guys for the stream, and all of my admins and staff.
That was Connor Berry and the number 28 with the win here in the feature race, as I believe Dave has caught up with our second place finisher, Zachary Drapkin, who had a titanic battle on his hands.
Oh yeah, that race was definitely one for the books. That was a blast. That was my favorite race so far today. I always love this track.
So we say the Red Rocket is back?
Oh, definitely. Hold up. I got Connor talking. Sorry guys, keep on going.
Well, Zach, one of the things about here, it's been a rough season so far. I mean, got used to be seen on the podium a lot last year. Now it's become a fight. There's so many more talented drivers. You guys have got so much speed. It's getting more difficult just to get to the podium.
Oh yeah, everybody now is so fast. I think the top 10 or something like that were within a second today in qualifying. And from last season to this season, that's like a huge gap. Last season we had maybe 4 or 5 in 1 second. Now there's 10 people that can easily knock you off the box at any point. So it's really been a crazy season, and jumping down to the last couple of races, these guys are getting a lot faster, and it's getting to the point where you have to start putting in laps and putting in the practice times, because if you're not, they are.
Yeah, well, they put the time in, and obviously, and let's talk about that time, the battle between you and Connor and Keaton.
Oh yeah, Connor and Keaton are like I said, Connor, Keaton, Felix are the fastest guys in the sim. I'm just here at this point. I'm just 4th place. I don't know how I'm keeping up. It's a lot more competitive now, just trying to battle with those 3 guys, because they're 1, 2 in the championship. I'm sitting 4th and got a little bit of a gap, but just trying to stick my nose in there and keep up with them it's awesome. I love battling with the guys. Keaton is so fast, so smooth. Connor just got raw talent. The guy, he flies by you and you're like, oh, there's Connor. Bye, Connor. And then you try to catch up to him. So it's just a lot of fun. I tried to catch up to him, and by 2 turns, me and Keaton were battling. I didn't have enough chance and not enough laps to catch back up to Connor.
Well, it was a great run. Congratulations on the podium. And I know you got some great people behind you that make this all possible.
Oh yeah, I got to thank everybody that backs me. My whole team. Connor's always helping me run laps, so it's always fun to run with him. But everybody that backs me in the real life and the sim world. I got Redline Oil, Awesome Polo, Signature Propellers, Chad, Jordan, Corey, and Jake, all watching from Montana. Hi guys, I hope to see you guys soon. AG Sandcars, Competitive Edge is building my fresh bullet for the Pro Buggy this season. Weddle Industries, McMullen Transaxle, Skydive Elsinore, Adam Grinder at Big O Tires are getting me hooked up. And the series sponsors, these guys are what make the world go round. CBR, Positive Beverage, Canon, all the guys. I wish I had a list. Super Clean, Signature Bellers, Dirt Sport World. The stream, you guys are awesome. I love coming back and watching the stream because the quality is it's there. So I couldn't say anything else better than tonight. I'm looking forward to. We got a break next week, I think, and then we're coming back. But I'm looking forward to racing when we get back. I think that we're going to carry this momentum and hopefully bring home another podium. So I'll see you guys in the next one.
Well, Zach Drapkin, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
That was your second place finisher, with third place going to Keaton Swain. But I'm curious what the thoughts are on this, Keaton, because you started on pole, and pretty much from the first turn onwards, it seemed like you were under attack from everybody and their grandmother.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't get the greatest of starts, and Zach got in front of me, but just put my head down and try to chase him down, and we did, and passed him clean. And I don't know what he was doing, but he doored me and kind of screwed up the rest of my race. I passed him about as clean as you can for this track, but I guess that's the way it goes sometimes. Come back and still be on the podium. Can't complain too much, but I felt like we had a good opportunity to win tonight, and obviously it slipped away from us.
It looked like it was getting frustrating on that second half of the race after the caution, because you kept getting to the inside of Zach, but you couldn't seem to get beyond him. Is there anything that you feel like you could have done differently to get P2 away from him?
Yeah, I probably could have done what he did to me and doored him and pushed him off the track and stay in the gas and ruin his race, but that's not the way I drive. So, obviously it's tough to pass here regardless, and I wanted to make it a clean pass, but I just couldn't get it done. But still to come back and get third, not have too many incidents. It's definitely a decent day for us.
You sound a little frustrated from how the race went down. It could be good news or bad news, the fact that we now have a 2-week break. Is that going to leave you stewing, or is this going to allow you to calm down?
Oh no, I'm good. That's just how Zach races, and on this tight track, it doesn't help at all. So, I'm not heated at all, but we'll come back in 2 weeks and try to get us a win.
All right. Well, congratulations on the podium. Anybody that you want to thank that helped make it possible?
Yeah, I just got to thank Appliance Parts Company, Factory Sim Sport, SimCoach Pedals, ZK Designs, Trevor Teal, all of Connor's sponsors, and you guys for doing the broadcast tonight.
Thank you very much for all the kind words. We always appreciate it from the drivers and the fans. As I believe we are going to wrap up, but we got a few things that we got to cover before we go. As first of all, Dave, oh man, this was. I'm glad that I've been invited back to keep covering these, because both of these races back-to-back weeks have been an absolute joy. Is this what I'm in store for when we head off to Wild West Park as well?
Well, I mean, a little bit longer, wide open. No, I think Wild Horse Pass is probably the most physical one. Turn 1 in Reno, though, can get pretty interesting. But, I think when it comes down to it, this is the most physical track you're going to see, and it never disappoints.
I can't wait for it at all. That is going to be fun to get to experience another one. And unfortunately, we do have to wait about 2 weeks' time before we get there. As we mentioned, Wild West will be Thursday on March 10th. That'll be at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. So take a little break, breather with us, and then we'll be back with yet more racing. We also, of course, have our upcoming events here on Podium Esports as well. So don't be afraid to tune in on those, including one I'm going to be on tomorrow with a complete opposite form as we go racing in German sports cars on the pavement side. That'll certainly be fun. But again, a big thank you to our sponsors, CBR Performance Products, AIM Sports Data, Super Clean, Dirt Sports World, Signature Propellers, Positive Beverage, and Smith Graphics. And for Ryan Bauer, Gary Sexton, John Theodore at Podium Esports, for everyone behind the scenes at iRacing Short Course series. For our team tonight, Dougie Beard, Cameron Aubernon, Ryan Bauer, Dave Arnold, thank you so much for watching. Make sure and tune in 2 weeks when we head on over to Wild West Motorsports Park. I'm Joe Peak, and I'll see you on the track.